Scientists started realizing that tobacco triggered negative health effects as early as the 1930s, yet the CDC estimates that smoking is still responsible for 480,000 deaths every year in the US. So what is it about smoking tobacco that's so deadly? Hey guys, Julia here for D-News. In 1964, a landmark report from the U.S. Surgeon General made the case for the link between smoking and cancer and heart disease. In the years since, the evidence has only piled up. Smoking is lethal in a few ways. In those early studies I mentioned, researchers found that cigarette smoke causes ciliostasis, which is when the little hairs lining your airways die. Without those hairs, your body has a hard time filtering out bad things like cigarette smoke. Smoke isn't just one thing, it's a combination of particles that result when you burn cigarettes. So it's like a feedback loop. The more you smoke, the more smoke gets in your lungs, and the more likely tumors will form due to the damaging particles. As you know, tobacco smoke has a lot of carcinogens. According to a study published in the journal Molecular Cancer Research, there's over 60 compounds known to cause cancer. Compounds like polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are formed when things like oil, gas, and tobacco are burned. They can even form if you char things like steak on a grill. And once those compounds get past the dead cilia, they find their way to the vulnerable parts of your lungs. Some of these PAHs lead to chronic inflammation of the lung, a condition which raises the risk of cancer. Some of these chemicals trigger mutations when they bind to the DNA. The compounds get stuck, forming what's called an adduct. That makes it really hard for the DNA to replicate, which can potentially lead to mutations. When this does happen, one of the most significant mutations occurs in a protein called B53. The protein handles a lot of cell regulation, and its function depends on a variety of factors, but it's often a tumor suppressor. When this protein experiences a mutation, that function gets switched off, allowing tumors in the lungs to grow and spread. One study published in the journal Clinical Cancer Research found that a mutation in P53 was a marker of poor cancer prognosis. But research published in the Journal for the Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology found that these compounds can trigger heart disease too. Basically, these compounds cause an overproduction of certain fatty acids in endothelial cells, the cells that line your blood vessels. This causes them to die. So yeah, smoking literally kills your blood vessels. Smoking also increases the risk of heart disease by narrowing the blood vessels and increasing the formation of clotting plaque, which can lead to deadly heart attacks. In fact, smoking counts for 33% of all heart disease-related deaths in the US. Still don't believe smoking hurts? Well, it can literally turn your lungs black. 2 recent studies confirmed that, smoking is deadly. The smoking gun, carbon nanoparticles. Similar to black lung syndrome, when coal miners inhaled coal dust, these particles from cigarettes get stuck in the lung and wreak havoc. In smokers, the particles can build up and lead to severe emphysema, a nasty and potentially fatal condition that makes it harder to breathe. The particles come from material that hasn't burned up all the way, which in this case is the tobacco itself. They're small, around 30 and 40 nanometers in size, which is about half the width of a human hair. But over time, these nanoparticles build up in the lungs and can do some serious damage. The first study published in the journal eLife found that they are so small that once they get into the dendritic cells, they can break apart DNA. So yeah, there's lots of ways cigarette smoke causes cellular damage through a variety of molecular mechanisms. With all the scientific evidence against it, I'm baffled why so many people still smoke. But hey, it's a comforting habit for some, and as we've discussed before, an addicting one too. Thanks, nicotine. But there's some good news. Studies show that some of the effects might be reversible.
Studies have shown that people who quit smoking and stay that way reduce their risk of lung cancer to that of a person who has never smoked within 10 to 15 years.
So even after hearing all of this, are you still going to pick up a pack of cigarettes? Let us know down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss a single